and welcome to Unhinged History, the podcast where Theresa and Angie compulsively study history and random factoids that make us giggle or cringe, and or both. And then we join forces once a week and we share them with each other and hope like hell that they're unique and novel and unknown to the other human. I'm
Hey,
Theresa.
I'm Angie. I blew it. I totally blew it.
We're not a professional podcast. There's no sponsored posts. HelloFresh does not want to sponsor us.
Maybe they do, and we just don't know it yet.
Every time I start to, dial that number, they're like, please enjoy this 45-minute flute solo. Your call is important to us.
At least it's not the bounce chicka bow hold music from the 80s.
If I ever get adult entertainment hold music, I will have additional questions.
I'm gonna send you. You've heard it before. I guarantee you've heard it before. It is the most widely used hold music, and it's literally like somebody in the 80s with a synthesized piano was like, make it hold music, but make it sexy.
Mm-hmm.
I get it for you. I get it for you because it makes your ears want to bleed. But that's our hold music at work, and every time somebody plays it, somebody else comes in dancing, like,
yeah, like feeling themselves, like, hey, yeah, I just ordered a pizza.
I am ready to buy vehicles.
Tip my delivery man.
Thank you, DoorDash.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to know that my Facebook Messenger has been recording this entire conversation, and it's totally one-sided, and I'm going to send it to you.
You jerk. That's what I purposefully stopped happening.
Mine isn't actually, but that happened to me yesterday, and it was an entire conversation with one of our friends at one of Ethan's trap meets, and it was like 10 minutes of conversation. Yeah. I didn't send it to anybody. When I opened it back up, I was like, what is this?
Oh, this is bizarre.
And we didn't say any of these things.
Was I on Ambien last night? What is this?
What happened 10 minutes ago? Where have I been?
Well, I want to start by telling you happy 20th episode.
We're so old.
I know. Can you believe we've done this consistently for 20 episodes?
I mean, technically, if you think about the lost episodes, it's been even more.
Shh, we don't mention those. They are dead to us. They are when we didn't have our shit worked out.
Are we ever gonna have that worked out?
No, we're really not. Be honest. Honestly, like the minute that happens, it's the nail in the coffin.
It's over.
The final finale.
Fun. Yeah, we're done.
It's just, I don't even make you laugh anymore. Like,
Theresa, I asked you to run away to Italy with me last night. Do you really think you'd ever stop making me laugh?
You did ask me to go to Italy, and you asked me to go. You sent that video asking me to go with you, like literally right after Hubs and I had a non-fight.
Oh,
and I was just like,
yes, let's go.
You don't realize, like, I don't even need to pack.
I'll get my new stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, you know what? I don't brush my teeth as much as I tell my dentist I do anyhow.
That's amazing information. I don't know what I'm ever going to do with that, but thank you. I mean, y'all heard it here first.
not true though. Yes, Dr. Ambrose, not true.
She's lying.
Not true. No. But yeah, no, I don't know if you want to go first or if I want to go first, or my story is a story. I'll tell you that much. It's not necessarily like there are like a lot of like, whoa, but it's a full rounded story. It's not a big bummer. I'm not going to muck you up like I did last week.
I don't have snack this week. I left it in the other room because of you.
Good. I mean, I don't ask for much, just for your inability to ever consume food again.
That lasted approximately 12 minutes.
You say that, but having edited that episode, it was a good, like, I lasted 12 minutes before you caught me snacking.
Well, it only lasted 12 minutes for you because I was up next and so therefore could not go snack.
Fair.
You know,
Fair.
like I was still thinking about snack and like how many Cheez-Its can I fit in my mouth right now and chew
Chubby
without
bunny.
her seeing or hearing, rather, not so much seeing because you definitely see it, but whether or not you'd hear it. Right. That's exactly. She's making squirrel face for the players at home. That's what I was thinking, but then I had to tell my story and I came out and I looked at the husband and I was like, do you remember that time we read about the guy that ate stuff? It's so much worse. I gotta go make dinner.
Wait a minute. He'd already read about it?
He had sent me like years ago, well, not years ago, a while ago, he sent me an article about like 10 weird people in history, and I think he was one of them, because remember I was like, this guy's name sounds familiar, but I can't place why. I think the article mentioned him, but like did not tell his story at all. So like every new piece of information you were giving me was like, that's not what I read.
That needs to just burn.
I read that he was like a sideshow worker that ate like nails, like building nails and screws.
I mean, not wrong, but hyper focused in his early years.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. That's not the story I read, but it did not stop me from going out to say, hey, remember that guy that we learned about that ate like shoes? It's worse. It's so much worse. Yeah. It's undeniably worse, but I'm gonna go make dinner now. And I did.
Well, mine isn't near that bad.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. Your story says it is well-rounded and that has a beginning and a middle and an end, and you know where they all place.
Yeah.
Can you go first?
Okay, I mean, shoot, that's a low barrier to entry.
I mean, because like I could go first, but I'm going to muck this thing up from the beginning to the end, but I have to tell you this story.
Okay, well, after I go, I'll go make myself a stiff drink, and I will return for your story.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so, do what I can. Okay, so I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to say that you have never heard of Shelly Bauman.
What's the last name?
Bauman, Bauman. Bauman?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not off the name. Couldn't tell you off the name.
All right.
I hope is she a pirate? Please be a pirate.
No, but funny you said pirate.
Because that's a very piratey name.
Okay. Well, but stay tuned because my sources are Kicksap Daily News, Shelly's Left Leg. Okay, so Kicksap Daily News has an article called Shelly's Left Leg, and the subheader is the founder of Seattle's first openly gay bar spent the last 8 years of her wild, tragic life in Bremerton by Lindsay Burton. And then Out History, Queen City Comes Out, Exploring Seattle's Lesbian and Gay History by the Northwest Lesbian and Gay History Museum Project, an article on historylink.org, Shelly Bauman suffers grave injuries at a Bastille Day mishap in Seattle's Pioneer Square on July 14th, 1970 by Rosette Royale. And the Seattle Star has one titled November 13th, 1973, Shelly's Leg by Jeff Stevens.
I hope her leg is hollow.
Hold, please.
Put on your hold music.
Do.
Bum chicka bum do.
Okay, so background. Born in Illinois on July 23rd, 1947, she grew up in Chicago where she studied classical dance as a young girl. After her family moved to Florida, her innocence shattered at the age of 16 when her father killed himself. Her mother then told her that man was not her actual father and then kicked her out of the house forever.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's a lot to unpack.
But like, that's guaranteed, a day right there.
Yeah, that is your therapist's brand new car, because you will end up paying
maybe
for that
his
entire
house
thing.
In the Hamptons even.
Correct. Yep. So she did what many do in this situation. She found herself working as an exotic dancer in Chicago, Hawaii, Miami, and Fort Myers, Florida. And then she goes to Seattle in the winter of 1968 and is taken in by a family living in Rainier Valley. So After moving into Rainier Valley, Bauman met two people, Joe McGonigal and Pat Nesser, who were two gay men.
Hold up. Did you just say McGonagall?
I did. I knew you were going to stop there. I tried to go right past it, but
You know me too well.
I did.
I need you to know the
what?
visuals I have now. Thank you for that.
Okay, but Joe McGonigal, not Professor, is a gay man who lives with another gay man and invites Shelly to live with them. They live in a large house in the central area with several other gay men. This house was known as the Village May and was a magnet for the local gay party crowd. Bauman moved in right after meeting McGonigal and Nesser. Crucially, McGonigal was the co-owner of a place called the Golden Horseshoe, a Pioneer Square gay bar located at 207 2nd Street South that thrived during the 60s, and where Nesser once worked as a bartender.
Okay.
So, you got all that in your brain?
Yeah.
July 14th, 1970, Seattle restaurateurs who Julia and Francois Kessel hold a dinner party and a parade at Pioneer Square to celebrate Bastille Day, France's national holiday, a celebration that will culminate in a terrible accident that leaves onlooker Shelly Bauman gravely wounded. Eventually, well, I'm going to skip that line because actually I don't want you to know because it's...
I'm telling you the story, but you can't know.
You're not going to know that part. Okay, so it's Bastille Day and they take off.
Did she eat a puppy?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing, there's no puppy eating. I feel like now that I've tortured you, I have to start every episode by saying nobody eats a kitten. No babies are harmed.
Okay.
Thank
you.
All right. It's my fault. I did it to myself.
You bought my therapist's new car.
Boy, did I. So the Kessels own this French grill called, the Brazier Pittsburgh. And the weather that day was ideal for the celebration. The daytime temperature topped out at about 84, and at dusk it had dipped into the 60s, and the Kessels held their dinner party on the top floor of the iconic parking garage called the Sinking Ship. And it's nicknamed that way because the triangular structure appears to be jutting out of the ground like a boat that's doomed to succumb to the waves.
Okay.
From the garage, the parade for Bastille Day is supposed to head south and then loop back through Pioneer Square and then return back toward the Sinking Ship. The parade's small and involves 2 cars and a pickup truck calling a Dixieland band. But to heighten interests, the Kessels contacted Morris Hart, who operated an antique shop on First Avenue. Hart also owned an antique fire engine, and the Kessels asked if he could include it in the parade. So Hart obliged, and he decided to add another feature, an old cannon, which he attached to the fire truck.
As you do.
Yeah, because that's realism, right? Every fire truck has a cannon.
Your fire trucks don't have cannons?
You got to fight fire with fire. Cannon fire.
You know how we know this? Because the redoundable.
The redoubtable. Redoubtable.
Oops.
You're fine. It's good.
Got it. You can edit that part out.
Nope.
Keep it.
Okay, so it's funny you bring up Santa Ana. So hold that thought. So Hart had some experience with this cannon. He'd incorporated it into other festivities, such as the 4th of July parades. And during past events, the cannon had been loaded with paper confetti. So when the cannon's ignited, the confetti would spray out from the bore, which is that long barrel. Apparently it's a bore.
I mean, that checks.
Yeah. The spectacle delights spectators. So before the Bastille Day parade begins, Hart and his son used a broom handle to pack 2 ounces of black powder and a wad of confetti paper into the barrel. Everything's set, right? So at about 11 p.m., the parade begins, and its projected parade route is short, but it still drew a sizable crowd. Among the spectators was 22-year-old Shelly Bauman, who moved from Florida and would later remark that there were people all over. Of particular interest of those in attendance was the cannon, and when the parade made a brief stop, a group of spectators climbed on top of the barrel. Over the course of the parade, however, revelers had poured their drinks down the cannon, congealing the confetti into a hard ball. People near Bauman were all laughing and saying, "Come on, get on, get on." And perhaps feeling the peer pressure, she clambered onto the cannon. She didn't stay long because when the parade restarted, she slid off and folded back into the crowd. The fire truck hauling the cannon was an antique vehicle, and the parade began crawling back along the streets of Pioneer Square. Its pace allowed spectators to once again climb aboard the barrel. There, people gave into the spirit of Bastille Day, and they drank and lit fireworks. At some point, the barrel begins to bob up and down. Whether it's due to the weight of the passengers or the movement or some malfunction, it's not known. But at one point it was pointing skyward, but now it's pointing directly at the crowd.
Of course.
Yeah. Carol Hart, whose husband owned the cannon, was among the spectators. When she and her son saw the barrel move, they sprung into action, yelling for people to get out of the way. Chaos ensued. Bauman believed she saw someone drop something bright into the cannon's bore. She found herself gazing into the cannon's barrel. Standing near Bauman was a friend who joined her at the parade, and Bauman told her friend they should move. It was too late. The cannon fired. Julia Kessel, the restaurateur who helped pay on the parade, heard the cannon's blast. Seeing Bauman collapse, she ran to her aid. Kessel checked Bauman's pulse. Bauman was alive, but barely, and Kessel screamed for an ambulance. Bauman lay sprawled on Occidental Street, where she was aware enough to know she'd been hurt, that in her abdomen was a smoldering wad of paper, and she attempted to remove it, but was stopped by another parade attendee, a doctor, who had advised her that the paper was staunching the flow of blood. If she removed it, she would have died. The doctor then presses his hand into her open womb, where he located a severed artery, and he clamped it shut with his fingers. That action kept her alive long enough for the ambulance to arrive, and Bauman was rushed to Harborview Medical Center. Just imagine how incredibly positioned that surgeon was to be like, hey, I'm here. No. Keep your hands out of the open wound. No. No, I'm going to do it now. My turn. Ready? Deep breath. Okay. You're going to feel a pinch. You're going to feel a pinch. Okay. Stay with me.
God bless him, because yeah.
So when she arrives at the ER, she's near death, and surgeons determined that they must amputate her left leg to save her life. But consent from Bauman or a family member was needed. Bauman resisted, and nobody knew how to reach her relatives. Instead, one of her roommates in Seattle, Joe McGonigal, arrives to the ER where he took charge. So I put the pen in her hand, he recalled, and I said, now sign your name. Bauman signed. Surgeons removed her leg and cut into her pelvic bone. Numerous operations followed, and it was a grueling recovery, which lasted 9 months, and she would use a wheelchair for the rest of her life. After the release from the hospital, Bauman sought restitution, and she sued the Kessels, who threw the celebration, Morris Hart, who brought the cannon, and the city of Seattle, which she alleged provided police officers who paid no heed to the loaded weapon at the public. The case was settled out of court in 1973, and Bauman was awarded $330,000.
I'm sorry, I think I misplaced a person. The gay couple she lived with was not the Kessels, right?
No, they were the restaurateurs who were throwing the dinner party on top of the parking garage. And they were the ones that got the parade permits and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, I gotcha. I got myself confused there real quick. Sorry.
The gay neighbors are the ones who showed up and were just like, hey, girl, you're going to hate this, but we're going to do it. Yours is to sign your name. Yeah.
Okay, got it. I don't know why I thought their last name was Kessel too.
That's fair. So before the settlement, McGonigal, Bauman's roommate, the one who said, sign your name, he'd harbored a dream to open a disco in Seattle. Bauman decided to help, and she lent McGonigal and the business partner, Pat Nesser, between $18,000 to $20,000. They bought a place that was called they bought the old Our Home Hotel on South Main Street, not far from where Bauman was struck by the cannon and aided by friends. McGonigal and Nesser transformed this place into a glitzy disco, multicolored plexiglass, a dance floor, and a disco jockey booth. A disc jockey booth.
I like disco jockey. That's their name now.
Disco, yeah. It's
Yeah,
just,
it's
it's a
not
little
disco enough for
man
me.
kind of in the little
Yep.
poofy shorts that you would see on a horse, and the
Yep.
helmet and the rider crop. But
And he is actually sitting on the horse while he spins the records.
I mean,
Yeah.
this checks.
Yeah.
So this ends up being the very first disc jockey in Seattle. Like there's just,
Oh.
it's never happened before. And to honor Bauman, the disco is named Shelly's Leg. And the venue opened December 14th, 1973. And it
That's
had
awesome.
a prominent sign that informed patrons that, quote, Shelly's Leg is a gay bar, all caps, provided for Seattle's gay community and their guests. Shelly's
Okay.
Leg became an instant success. Seattle's first disco was born. The Leg was the first disco, gay or straight, in Seattle.
Huh. You learn something new every day. I don't know why I figured Seattle would have already been on top of this.
It's 73. Things are just starting.
No, I guess that's true. Yeah. Okay.
It featured 1940s lounge decor, including fake palms, neon lights, and was hugely popular with lines that stretched around the block. In fact, the mostly gay in crowd often had to go through a special interest at the back where names were listed in a Rolodex.
I love that.
I mean, it's just like, that is so neat to know that existed. Co-owner and namesake Shelly Bauman talked about the disco's popularity in the 1976 Seattle Times article by Eric Lactus, where Shelly says, straight discos don't have the capacity or the sensibility to put together something like this. We've been crowded the past 9 months. Every night at about 9:30 p.m., it's like 3 Greyhound buses full of people descend on us. The word is just out, and this is the place to come and dance. It's gotten to the point where you can't tell who's straight and who's gay.
They're all just having fun.
That, as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
The dance hall marked a turning point at a time when gays and lesbians began to organize, and the city began not just to accept, but to embrace the gay population.
Because of a disco.
That's all it took, just some place to hang out, have a couple of drinks,
Weird.
Shelly's Leg brought a glamour to Seattle that was rare for the infamously repressed city. John Otto, a Shelly's Leg regular, recalled that the venue's unique character in a September 2014 City Arts magazine interview, where he discussed the associated glamour, comparing it to other cities' nightlife scenes. Quote, it was a different sort of glamour because Seattle had this earthiness, this grittiness, this subliminal nature that places like Los Angeles never had. Los Angeles had a dark underbelly, but it's a bright, shiny, superficial place. Seattle gets deep. So even though glamour is what we strive for, there was also a depth to it as well.
I like that.
That was really neat, And so Shelly's Leg is massively popular. And even though it had...
Totally, when you said that, I just totally had this image of her like having to take her leg off so everybody can hold it. I just like, yeah,
over
not
their head like a Tuscan Raider
or anything, but they're like, yeah. This is my friend the leg.
Come on, we're gonna go hang out at the leg. It'll be good.
Yeah, let's do it.
So even though it was incredibly awesome and massively popular, it was destroyed kind of very similar to how it ended up making its way into the world. On December 4th, 1975, at approximately 1 a.m., an oil tanker was driving along the Alaskan Way Viaduct, which is directly above the club, when the tanker collided into a guardrail, unhitching the 4,800-gallon trailer, and then exploded, pouring fiery gasoline onto passing a freight train below and onto more than 30 cars parked in front of Shelly's Leg, shattering the glass front window and torching the front of the club, including the DJ booth and turntables.
Oh, dang.
So it's, no bueno. No bueno.
That's muy no bueno.
Miraculously, no one's injured.
Well, that's good.
Bauman, McGonigal, and Nessa are able to renovate the club using insurance money. Nevertheless, the club's popularity was permanently damaged by the incident, which checks. You don't want to go to a place where something like that could happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ultimately, the club's final demise was caused by a financial dispute among the three co-proprietors that led to the club being padlocked by the IRS, and
Oh.
Shelley's leg thus abruptly closed sometime circa 1979, just when disco music and culture had finally achieved national mainstream popularity.
Oh, that's so sad. They could have been such a beacon.
I mean, and technically they were.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. They were the first.
They were, yeah, and they just nailed it out of the park. Because in the bar's 4-year run showed how one person and one of her limbs can change history without even trying.
By like accident.
Yeah. So, kind of to bring it home, Bauman died at her home in Bremerton, Washington, November 18th at, I think she lived until 2010. I didn't put the year in there because that would have been helpful. At the age of 63 from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease after a nomadic life of dancing and partying. Though Northwest baby boomers remember her as the disco owner in Pioneer Square, sometimes stopped and recognized her at Bremerton grocery stores. Friends describe her life as tragic, filled with drinking, drugs, and health problems, and cared for her at her Bremerton duplex for the last 8 years of her life. And one of those men was 64-year-old Monty Levine. And one of the things said about her is she never let, I know, isn't that Monty Levine? Like, ooh. She never let her limitations get in her way of a good time. Like, and this next bit cracked me up. Because I was like, wait a minute, is she gay or straight? Like, this doesn't seem like the actions of a gay woman or a lesbian woman. Because she is quoted in saying that she loved the lush images of the musical Moulin Rouge and was known for pausing movies on any close-up of Val Kilmer.
Thank you for that. It
Yep.
couldn't have been better.
Nope.
I'm gonna say she, hey, maybe she was both. She had a soft spot for Val Kilmer, but she liked the ladies. Or maybe she was like, look, a dollar's a dollar, but I love Val Kilmer.
I mean, honestly, I think the truth is she was just the best ally in the world.
Yeah, I mean, live your life, man.
She was known for having a penchant for fancy shoes, even though she only had one leg.
As you do. I
She
only
would,
need one.
right, like just sell me the right one, please and thank you.
Yeah, it's only one. Someone else only needs the left one.
Right.
Yeah, I got it.
She's a notorious party girl, keeping her friends awake at night and kicking anyone who got in the way of her in her wheelchair. And I can respect that.
Yes. I'm just trying to get my tomatoes. Okay?
Yeah, like just
Get
out of my way.
Yeah.
Friends said that the red-haired, green-eyed woman who fancied herself a Bette Davis lookalike couldn't have been any other way. While Shelley's leg was open, Bauman lived on Bainbridge Island and then Seattle, but then moved to Hawaii after the bar closed, which I can respect.
I mean, 6 months of rain to Hawaii seems. I rain's my favorite, but I also love Hawaii. And it rains there every day,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So while she's in Hawaii, she met a man from Fort Myer. So she moved back to Florida with him and got married. The couple later divorced.
Lame.
And she lived in Fort Myer until 2002. Bauman continued drinking. And when she did, she'd call her acquaintance Levine, Monty Levine in Bremerton, drunk at 3 or 4 a.m. and asked for help in relocating. And then Hurricane Charlie hits in 2002. And she was on the first plane to Seattle and moved in with Levine and his partner, Mark Druinsey, at their house on Wyckoff Avenue. Eventually, she moves into the duplex next door. Bauman talked of moving to Seattle, but Levine told her that she wouldn't live much longer due to her declining health, and she shouldn't get sucked into the partying there. And that's when Levine says he's never met someone so afraid of dying. And Levine worked with AIDS patients, and he thinks it's probably fear that kept her in Bremerton.
Wow. I don't peg her as some. Oh man, I can't believe I just said that. I made a leg joke.
You didn't mean to. It wasn't intentional. I'm not even going to acknowledge it. I'm going to keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all I can do. I'm not editing it out, but I'm not going to.
I don't see based on what you said before that fear was something she had.
But we're not
But maybe
necessarily
that was
going
like
into
her
like,
one thing, I guess.
well, but he also said due to her declining health. So we don't know exactly what her med chart looked like. It could have just been, one thing right after the other, multiple visits to the hospital. Like,
I guess that's true.
you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot we're not hearing in these articles. As much as I could find, there was so much I couldn't.
That's fair. That's fair.
Bauman continues to drink. And even though she's in Bremerton, she goes to Seattle to hang out. And one night, paramedics were called to the Bremerton ferry terminal where she had fallen out of her wheelchair drunk on the ferry.
Oh, that's drunk. You're already sitting down.
Yeah. And Bauman said she used drugs and alcohol as a social lubricant because she had very few friends.
Okay.
So, I mean, girl, same. Same. Sometimes I just bring my dog as a social lubricant instead, but yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay.
So for all of Shelly's bravado, Levine says, I think she's very timid inside. And I'm sure that the alcohol is one of the things that she used to help her be able to talk to other people. I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then things continue to get worse for her because in 2007, her duplex burns down and she takes another turn for the worse health-wise. She'd been smoking and she forgot to remove her oxygen cannula, and the oxygen tube got wound up in her wheelchair and ended up catching on fire. Like the end of the oxygen hose sprouted flames.
Dang. Okay.
Because you're definitely not supposed to smoke while on oxygen. There's kind of a lot of science about that.
Kind of rules that say probably don't do that. Yeah,
so
we see it. We see it.
I know. And so a neighbor rescues her and she's flown to Harborview Medical Center. And
that was the original medical center too, wasn't it?
The one that saved her leg. Yeah. Well, it's a big hospital.
Okay.
And that's when her health declined truly rapidly and it hit her that she is dying. But even despite all this, friends and neighbors still recall the happy memories. And despite the gloom that Bauman felt in her last years, Crystal Gresham, who was 21 of Bremerton, was one of those who took care of her and considered her a friend for the last 2.5 years. It was a lot of fun, Gresham said. We had a lot of girl time together. Caring for Bauman was the first time Gresham had worked with elderly or disabled people, and her patient was a feisty one. I think if she taught me anything, she taught me patience, Gresham said. Marty Ames, 52, lived with Bauman for a few months when they both moved into their Wyckoff Avenue duplex. Ames now lives in the unit neighboring Bauman's. She was a work of art, Ames said, recalling how nocturnal Bauman would never let him sleep at night.
I love that. I want to be your friend too.
I know. Brown said that even people who didn't know her remembered her bar fondly. At speaking engagements, people still recognize her name. A stranger who heard a radio interview that Brown gave on KUOW sent him a coat check ticket that he'd kept for more than 30 years from Shelly's leg.
That's awesome.
The sign that hung in front of the bar is on permanent collection at Seattle's Museum of History and Industry. And that is the story of Shelly's leg, the very first disco in Seattle, designed to serve the gay and lesbian community.
I need to know how you came to this story.
Okay, so I was on Pinterest, and
that is not where I thought this was going to start. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so my Pinterest, the algorithm is set very, very steady. I need,
as is mine, yeah.
Great embroidery, a couple solid recipes, and then history memes.
Same. Okay.
And there was a history meme that talked about how when Shelly Bauman lost her left leg in an accident, it just said in an accident. It didn't say a cannon ball of hardened beer hardened confetti, but it just had lost her leg and then started the very first bar in Seattle, and I just went,
must know more.
Yeah, I just get, and I store a lot of these to like one of my boards, and I'm gonna need to set it to secret so that you don't see it. But
I promised not to go look because I also realized that I too have a board. Please
that
don't
is
look.
very similar. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But that's how I
Yeah.
found it. And I was just like, oh, oh.
Oh, I love that.
And
I'm
I'm
sad we didn't get to meet her. Do
I
you have a
know.
picture?
Not one that I saved, but hold on. Hold, please. Because
Preferably one of
she
her holding her leg up. I'd like that.
no, there isn't that.
Okay. That is exactly what I had in my mind of what this woman looked like after you said what she looked like.
Yeah. Long flowing red hair, green eyes.
Definite firecracker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was a redhead I met, oh, it's got to be about 10, 15 years ago. And she was a friend of a coworker. And my friend later remarked, and because this girl was tall, right? So my friend is telling me, she goes, yeah, her favorite thing, because I was like, how tall is she? And she goes, well, her favorite thing to tell someone, like typically a very attractive man, I'm 6'1" laying on my back. You're just like, whoo.
Get it?
Mhm.
That is hilarious. I love that. Does that make you 6'2" standing up? I have
Yeah.
questions.
But if you're gonna be tall and you're going to get that question, chances are you've had time to work through a
Oh,
repertoire of responses.
for sure. This morning, someone said to me, I was standing next to two other people, and there was a group of people behind us, and one of the ladies that I was standing next to looked at me and said, we're being talked about. And I turned like, what do you guys have to say? Like, they're all friends. And she was
Yeah.
like, I was just mentioning how two of the three of you, so it was me, this sweet lady, and her sweet husband. And she goes, I was just mentioning to my friend over here how two of the three of you have very natural, beautiful gray hair. And the other one, and I was like, excuse me, I wake up like this every single day. And literally that entire group of people was like, you don't pay for that? Haven't in years. Like,
You
if
know,
I if I'm dyeing it, it's purple. This doesn't.
yeah, to that, okay. I did a summer with gray hair
Yes.
and I tried my best, and I won't ever do gray hair again that is not blessed by God because of one person at the Costco gas line. I got out of the cars, fill up my gas tank, and I hear this woman look at me and go, "Excuse me, what color is your hair supposed to be?"
Yeah, no, this is it. This is the color of my hair. So I made the joke that clearly the odd one out was the husband and he dyes his that color. Because,
Hmm.
you know, obviously we're naturals. And then they were all like, wait, what? The amount of I've literally had strangers like go through my hair to find my roots. This is mine.
It is never okay for anybody to go through somebody else's hair for any reason.
Typically not when you don't want them to touch your head.
I mean, unless you say, "Oh, yeah, sorry, lice."
No,
It's like
they were literally like, I was sitting at my desk working, and this individual walked up to me, like not a complete stranger, but stranger enough, And I all of a sudden I feel like movement on my head, and I'm like, what are you doing?
absolutely not, unless you just start hysterically screaming like they've got fire fingertips.
I didn't have to because my coworker sitting next to me excused this individual from our office.
Okay, fair. Okay, I will accept, like, there was one time somebody went through my hair. They were very respectful about it. I had wanted to cut my hair short. And my hairdresser said, the only way I'm cutting your hair short, because you've had long hair for years, is if you buy extensions and we dye extensions to match your hair so you can put them back.
Okay,
Like,
that's fair.
I'm not cutting your hair until you've got a replacement.
Like,
Okay.
we need to make sure you like what we're doing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I go to work on Tuesday or on Monday with hair at my shoulders. Tuesday, I walk in and I've got hair to my mid back.
Like, ta-da!
And one of
Super
my
fast.
coworkers, yeah, incredibly vivacious, very effusive woman comes in and she goes, hold up.
Excuse me.
She goes, I am loving all of this. And she goes, may I go through your hair? I just want to see what we're working with here.
Okay, that's fair. That's reasonable. I'm
Yeah.
here for
And
that.
I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, because she asked permission. And it could also be that she's a Black woman, so she knows how to approach somebody and touch their hair, like in the steps to go through. And like she taught me, these are the steps I want somebody to do with me because this is how I'm approaching you. And
That's
I was like,
exactly how you do it. Yeah.
okay, yeah, sure. And she goes through and she goes, oh, look at that. Yeah, clip on. Yeah, this makes sense.
I was wondering because yesterday
Yeah.
looked different today. Couldn't quite place it.
She's like, it's not a wig. Like, what are we playing with? And so I was like, I could respect that.
Well, and you got to share at that point. You got to share at that point. Like,
Especially if you know that you guys are both lovers of the hair, both real,
yeah,
not yours, but still real, maybe not real at all.
fun hair. We're here. We are in love
We're
with
here
hair.
for the fun hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Ian tells me on the regularly I could never be with anybody that has better hair than me. That's true.
He could never be with anybody who has better hair than him or better hair than you.
Me.
Okay, perfect. I just want confirmation because he's bald.
The amount of times we've watched something and I've been like, oh, that man has magnificent hair. And Ian waits like 30 seconds and then goes, you wouldn't last 10 minutes. He's got better hair than you.
Ooh, okay. So we'll be someplace and Mike, also bald, will be, like if my hair is down, I get the, oh my gosh, I love your hair. And he'll flip his head magnificently side to side and just go, thank you.
Thank you. Spend hours brushing it every day. I love them. It's like, good work, babe. You did good.
Yeah, you brushed your beard, you magnificent man.
Excellent work, you beast.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he has a special brush for his beard. He's got a special shampoo and conditioner for his beard. He has beard oil and supplements. You know, the little jade rollers that you use to rub ointments and oils and salves into your face or whatever. I don't own one. He owns
does.
one. And he massages the things into his face to encourage hair growth for a fuller, more luscious beard.
You know what? Don't answer it. You don't have to answer that.
He doesn't listen. No, it doesn't work. But it gives him a hobby and he likes it.
Hey, I'll buy your beard oils for you, babe.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. They all smell very woodsy, You
smell nice.
I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, I appreciate the work, the effort you're putting into this.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. He puts effort into it, into his beard because he doesn't have long, luscious locks anywhere else. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I always tell Ian that I equate his facial hair with his ability to build me a house. Like, if we're strapped on a desert island, your facial hair tells me which one of you is going to build the house for me.
That's probably why I spend so much time removing my facial hair. Like, you cannot trust me around these tools.
I will saw my foot off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I made another joke.
You're just not. Okay.
Stop me.
We're going to need to cut this episode because Angie is just. I mean, you started the episode by going, is she a pirate?
She sounds like a pirate. Now I have to go find the pirate that has the same last name because she sounds like a pirate.
You're okay?
Hold on. I'm Googling it right now because I swear to you there's a pirate called Shelly Bauman. There's a lot of really nice looking people named Shelly Bauman currently alive today. Oh, I have seen things. Never mind. I'm thinking maybe her name was Mary Bowman.
These are things.
Yeah.
So I just realized that I did take quite a bit of time in telling Shelly's story. I loved it. Would you be opposed to maybe you telling your story next week? Just so.
Honestly, I would love that so I could better organize my story. Like, that would make my day.
That would make your day?
Yeah, because I have my whole story, but I am just so unconfident about the order of operations.
Girl, that happens. That happens. That's fine. And then
I
it'll
don't
give
know
you time.
PEMDAS. I don't know where to put the brackets.
Wait, what? Wait, sorry.
I
Go
just made
back
a
one.
math joke. I said PEMDAS. I don't know where to put the brackets.
All
I don't
right,
know where to
all
put
right.
the parentheses.
I've been there. Typically, it's I don't know what a PIMDOS is, and I feel like I really should.
Oh, it's a math. It's the math, like the order of operations for math, like parentheses,
Oh,
uh,
okay. See, I know the order of
division,
operations, but
yeah.
I didn't know the acronym name.
I'm just lame like that
You know?
because for all the years that I have fought and stated out loud how much I hate math, I actually do not tell my husband I said this. Love math.
I have that same relationship, and I learned that during my graduate statistics course,
Yep.
where there was just I was like, it's so clean, it's so elegant. Like
Oh,
I
it's
I
beautiful.
hate wrapping my brain around it, but then when I do, it's fantastic once it clicks.
Yes. My last few math classes have been really fun, but my last math class was math for liberal arts students, which is basically like the history of math. And it was freaking amazing.
I was say that sounds like the worst history class ever.
It was so much fun. Like my final project was math in ancient Egypt.
That could be neat.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see. So like we talked from the very beginning, like the mathematics of South America and the Quipu and their different like numbering systems, and
Yeah.
just like learning that we work in a base 10 but other civilizations don't or didn't.
Right.
I was like, wait, what?
There was, okay, random math story. There was a math class I took my undergraduate, and we had a pop quiz. And I walk in, and we've been learning about different numbering systems. And the quiz was the entire number system from ancient China.
Oh,
And
how
we needed to
cool.
put it in order, just
Okay.
using rationale and logic to get there. Like, and I finish, like, I look at it and I smile and I finish the quiz in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Show off.
And I walk up, hand it to the professor, and he looks at me and I went, ancient Chinese numbering system is the same as modern day Japanese.
I win.
And he's like, and I was like, yeah, this right here is your answer key. And he looked at me and I just went, goodbye.
Goodbye. I don't unfortunately have an amazing story like that. I just secretly love math. Please don't tell my husband.
We just won't. This will be the forgotten episode. He'll never hear episode 20. It'll disappear into the ether like all of the other poor audio episodes where we record, listen to later, and I'm just swearing the entire time as it plays in the background.
And then occasionally you hear me going, "Can you even hear me? I don't feel like you can hear me."
Theresa, my microphone normally has a green light and it's a red light. Is that a problem?
No, it normally is green. I can't figure out why it's not on, which still does not make sense because that day I was like, babe, I experienced this weird thing, and I feel like in a house full of tech-centered people, especially married to a sound man who this is their skill set, why is this not green? There's still no logical reason. Like everything worked. It just didn't want it to be green that day. Also, I'm kind of colorblind, so it's possible the light was on the whole time. So there's that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that.
Well, if you've enjoyed our 20 minutes of rambling about math and how we should edit out all of the bad puns about our ableism ways, then join us.
Technically, I'm just the ableist. Sorry.
I keep choosing people who are maimed, and it could be because I'm recovering from a knee injury and I am subconsciously attracted to people with injured legs.
You're like identifying with their plight. You're like, I got you.
You know what? I see your pain. I see it. I feel it. I'm with you.
Standing in solidarity while my friend over here is a complete jackwad.
Standing, you jerk face. Me on my crutches.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God.
You just can't help it.
And I am not.
You're
Okay,
you're
here's the
coming
thing.
off on the wrong foot.
Okay, sure. I am not even trying, but I understand now that I very much have to think about the words that are coming out of my mouth in certain circumstances before I offend somebody who legitimately has lost their leg. Oh my God.
Well, get it out with me in a safe space. Don't worry, I'll publish it to the internet. It'll be fine.
The internet is a safe, bully-free space.
Yeah.
Full of
Warm,
kindness
encompassing.
and warmth.
Yeah.
The whole of the internet is not TikTok.
Shut your mouth.
Sorry.
So if you have enjoyed this conversation and you're thinking, I can't wait to hear what antics Angie brings,
Just me,
especially
I'm the only problem.
it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. So if you want even more badly sung Taylor Swift, rate, review, subscribe, hit us up. We have an email. You can reach out to us. unhinged.historypod@gmail.com. I promise you, we are there. We read every single message you send us. And if you are calling us out for our ableism, we will correct it. We might even say it out loud.
Are you channeling William Shatner right now?
I wouldn't ever channel William Shatner. Okay, this is going to get cut, but there was a good chunk of time where there's a group of us on Twitter who have been having the same conversation thread for several years now.
Okay. I love
Someone had mentioned William Shatner. Now
Okay.
there's 35 of us in this active chat that
and
are
William
having
Shatner.
this conversation all day, every day. And William Shatner blocked a good chunk of us because he was tired of all of the mentions. Because you reply, yeah, I ate breakfast at this new shop. Like, check out these pancakes at William Shatner. Oh, those look great. Yeah, that reminds me of the time we went there at William Shatner. Oh, but you should go to the comic book next door. Like, that shop is great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love knowing that. I'm going to at William Shatner.
For everything.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Well, on that note, goodbye.
Goodbye.